Traders, welcome to Q4, guys. Let's crank out on these next 90 days. Let's go over to past 7 and let's see what we got for the next upcoming week. All right, let's roll the intro. All right, traders, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Sunday market breakdown. It's your boy Cleveland. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. It's a beautiful weekend here in Atlanta, so I want to eventually get out once this is all wrapped up and maybe go to the park with some of my homies. Okay, if you guys have not seen the last Sunday market breakdown, make sure you guys go back. The link will be in the description. We had some pretty good outlooks. Okay, we had a CAD. We wanted CAD a little bit higher. We wanted Euro a little bit lower. Both of those things played out pretty well. We had a trade idea for NZD, but we'll talk about that stuff in a little bit. Okay, so guys, this stuff, these moves, they come out pretty quick. All right, so make sure you guys are subscribed so you can be actionable on this stuff. And as always, guys, like the video for your boy. All right, traders, so 2 weeks in a row we've been looking for US strength, and that's 2 weeks in a row we've actually got it. All right, and she's paid us very well, that Yellen. All right, so she actually came out with some forecasts last week, again, that were a little bit positive for the US. Trump, you know, his racist ass has been a little bit, you know, wild in terms of Puerto Rico, but he's coming out with tax reform, and again, that gave us some steam on the dollar index across most of the pairs, which actually gave us an opportunity that we have not seen happen yet on this Euro USD. Okay, so let's roll the tape real quick on the Euro trade idea, and I want to show you guys where we're at, and I want to show you why this is such a big deal. Okay, let's roll the tape. Peak there. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. As you guys can see here, this is another chance, okay, for markets to break back down into some structure. Let's hope for that to happen. Now, if we can stay underneath the $1.20, maybe we hit back off on it. You know, maybe markets range back up inside of this level here. But if we can stay under $1.20, folks, and then get that U.S. news, then we'll have a really, really pretty short opportunity that we can take. Maybe we enter back into the 19 mids. Sentiment, folks. Euro U has been nothing but sentiment, okay? Sentiment in the sense that most people that have been involved in that asset class have been trading in a certain direction based on the economic data, based on the fundamental data at hand, okay? And so the sentimentary idea as to where to take that market, carte blanche, has been long, okay, for that Euro U. Folks, recently we've had a little bit of a pivot. We've had a little bit of a shift. Once Euro clunked out at that $1.20, we've had an interesting set of situations come about, okay? Yellen, that's one scenario there, giving out our forecast of 2.75% over the next 4 years in terms of our interest rate number, starting the quantitative, starting the tapering program this month. Okay, and again, 60% likelihood that we're going to be hiding rates in December. Those are three positive things there on the U.S. side. Okay, Draghi, on the other hand, might be, you know, pushing back QE for maybe a month or two. A couple other things like Merkel, she actually got reelected, and again, she's a little bit more of a nationalist. That usually stipends U.S. Euro strength a little bit. Those are some bad things on the Euro side, okay, and a couple other economic indicators as well. But at the end of the day, folks, we've had a turning point in terms of that Euro U upside, and as you guys can see, here's a chart of a weekly here. You guys can start to see how the market has been slowing down, okay? The situation at hand that has come about is the trade that we actually took last week, okay? That Euro short breakdown into consolidation. Folks, that's never happened in Euro in 2017. All right, so that was a little ballsy call for us to assume the short back down into the consolidation there, but it worked out, okay? You can see that the market had that higher level consolidation. We talked about that. Right underneath the lower level of consolidation, both around a 220 pip range. Well, again, that has not happened, all right? So for Euro to have had two 250 pip ranges, 220 pip ranges right on top of each other, that shows you that there is a lack of momentum coming in, and we shorted the market back down in to that previous range, okay? So again, really good situation there. I want to show you guys a call that we had on the CAD. Very interesting. I wanted to short on CAD, but we had an idea where CAD could go before we could get this short. Okay, here's the short on CAD. I don't want to be that guy. So maybe if we can get markets to come up into that 61.8, you guys see there how it aligns pretty well with the high of the channel. We can start shorting this market back down in. Okay, so that's something I was looking at. So I have precautionary trading scenarios, right? If we get the U.S. strength, then I'll play this move. If we get the U.S. weakness, then I'll probably play this pair. Well, CAD for me was a play that if we got U.S. weakness, it would have been nice to short the market back down in. We had some pretty decent structures that aligned for a shorting opportunity. But again, I was a little bit skeptical to play the CAD when I saw that we still had upside potential up into the 61.8, which is exactly where we hit off. We actually had a webinar in a top trader community where we were still looking for that move. We were waiting for those markets to rip outside of that $24.30 number up into the $25 flats, and that's exactly what happened. So maybe we'll get that short this week. Let's go into the technicals and let's see what we got. Remember, we got NFP that comes out this week, and with all the U.S. strength that's come about, we'll see what happens in regards to NFP. Okay, we could have had a slowdown of payroll of hiring last month because of Hurricane Irma, because of Hurricane Harvey. Those markets, they're going to have heavy implications on, again, economic growth in the sense of productivity growth. We also had an NZD long idea, but again, that was on the precipice that we got the U.S. Weakness, but we got the U.S. strength, right? So NZD was looking really nice at this structure high. It's like a monthly high, but we had a massive rejection back down into the previous low. I thought that if markets could break this top right here, then boom, we could crack all the way back up into the next structural high, but that didn't work out so well, right? So again, I'm seeing that we might again have another chance of U.S. weakness. Let's see what we get. Let's pull over to the charts. I'm really excited about it, all right? If we get some good NFP that comes out, folks, we'll definitely see U.S. maybe have another leg higher on the dollar index, which means we might have another leg lower on that Euro U, guys. All right, so guys, let's pull over to the charts. As always, folks, like the video for your boy. Let's see what we get this week. All right, let's pull over into the charts.
All right, traders, let's pull over into these charts. Here's our range that we got drawn up here. I'm going to delete that off in a sec. But if you guys notice, we've hit off right at 38.2, and we've already actually pulled back a bit, almost hitting off on the bottom of the range here. So that's pretty interesting. So remember, folks, we got NFP that's coming out this week, right? So just try to rationalize and think, where do you think we will be, once NFP hits? Now, remember, we have to add around over 100,000 jobs, and if we do that, then that means we'll have a pretty good number, because again, they downgraded the amount of jobs added based off of the the hurricane season here, right? So if we hit off over 100,000, I think we could probably start to come back down towards the 17 flats. That's exactly where we hit off at 17. Yeah, right at 17.05 is what the lowest point that we got to. Currently sitting at 18.05, so around a 100 pip move already exists today. Okay, so maybe again, if we do get a bad number, we will come back up inside of the range. Now, I don't think that's a horrible trade, to be honest with you. I really don't think that's a horrible trade. If you're talking about the low to the high of the consolidation, right now we're sitting around a 23.6 percent fib here. We might head back higher up into the 38.2 before we get a move lower, but I do think we will push higher in some capacity. So might be able to catch a little quick buy side push up into structure, and if we see markets start to reverse a bit, we will liquidate the position and start looking for that sell side position, which is, again, the general idea, right? So before we get the NFP out, might see markets push back higher. Again, that would be a nice buy side push, and that's the trade. It's really simple. Really simple, okay? So let's see where we're at on Thursday night, Wednesday session, a little bit before Friday's NFP number that comes out. And I think, again, if the news is good, you might see markets just hammer back down to the structure low there, okay? So the Australian dollar, this is gold right here, guys. So notice, remember I mentioned last week on gold that we might see markets pull back a bit. Look at that. We had a little bit of a reaction down here at the low, but we didn't have any sustainability. That U.S. strength kind of kicked off a bit, and North Korea's waters calmed a little bit, right? So pulling over into Aussie. Last week I mentioned, guys, I don't really like Aussie too much, but maybe we'll come back down to the structural low. Well, I caught the U.S. strength on that euro. I wasn't playing over here on this Aussie dollar. So again, this is another pretty good scenario where if we get some lack of liquidity in terms of the U.S. buy side, just because a lot of market participants are looking to wait to see what happens on NFP, well, that means you'll have more buy side volume trading into that Aussie, which means you'll have the push higher. Okay, so outside of that, we'll look back and we'll see a little bit later on to see what fundamentals we have outside of NFP. Obviously, we have unemployment claims. We have the oil release that comes out on Wednesday. Again, those smaller those smaller indications could definitely jar us around a bit, and have that euro push higher and have this Aussie push higher as well. Now, GBP is looking a little bit stair-steppish, right? It sold off a bit, and it broke past the 23.6, which is what we were looking for last week. But as you guys can see, we've had the retest, and currently right now we're still sitting outside of the 23.6, but again, somewhat consolidating, after the break on Tuesday, right? So again, this is another scenario. Markets on this GBP USD, though, are really just kind of hanging up here in these highs. I still think markets can come down into that 50% retracement, which is what I'm looking for on that end, okay? That looks pretty good. USD CAD. USD CAD is another scenario. It's very funny how we pulled all the way back up into that $1.25 to the pip. I mean, that was pretty good forecasting there. But currently right now, We just, again, have to see exactly what's going to happen. So, obviously, CAD is dictated pretty dramatically by the oil release. I'm about to delete this stuff for you guys here. Okay, and as you see right now, again, just a very nice stair step. I really do think that this will be where I want to take this US dollar short if it happens. If it happens. I just tried to draw up a little trend line. Didn't get anything on the bottom side. On the top side, TL, though, it looks like we got something. It helps out, right? So we have a little bit of a channel here. Let's see how markets react in this channel throughout the week. Folks, by the way, if you go to the site, motivefx.com, and get in the rookie course, I'm doing a morning briefing for all the rookies every morning, okay? So it's not trade alerts. It's not anything that you get unless you're inside Top Trader Live or Top Trader Pro, but it's just a quick synopsis as to what I'm looking at in the actual charts, okay? So that will be over in the rookie section. Just get in the rookie course and you'll see it in there, all right? Other than that, folks, let's see how this market plays out tick by tick. I might do trade updates and let you guys know what I'm in, but no real trade ideas, just kind of just assessing markets with you in the morning and just seeing, you know, what possibly could happen, okay? So that's what that US CAD is looking like. Still need that thing to play out a bit. Seems like so far, over you know, during this Sunday session, the only thing I like and only trade I really have right now is that Euro push outside of that 23.6. If you guys want to look at the USD/JPY, I know a lot of you guys play that USD/JPY. Again, last week I was saying how, hey, markets seem to be consolidated up here, and they are still consolidated. So this is another scenario where, hey, if we get the US weakness, why can't we short this market back down into structure here? If you guys look at it on the daily, kind of came right back up into this range where markets were kind of just hammering around from this 2016 low, 2017 high. We pulled back as far as 50%, okay? And so we were hitting off on that 50% level. Now that I'm looking at it, probably was a pretty good place to start buying this market up. I know a lot of my top traders wanted that buy up in the structure, and we got it. And as we can see, we came right back up into this low of consolidation at that 23.6% retracement, right? So if we look at the weekly on this thing, we do see a tendency of, you know, markets somewhat having a little bit of a higher low here, right? You know, not really in this scenario, but if you look at markets here, okay, hey, if this is our high, well, then maybe we'll have, you know, a leg lower, right? And so, again, that's on the precipice that we get some strength over there in Japan, weakness over here in the USA. Technically, it could add up to make some kind of sense, all right? But we just have to look and see what happens. If North Korea wants to up the ante a bit, then, folks, again, this JPY strength will come in very, very forcefully. So North Korea stuff, folks, think about it. If you ever see North Korea, immediately think USD JPY. See if you can catch something on the sell side over here, okay? Let's look at GBP JPY. Maybe the structure is a little bit better over there. So I guess we're playing that. So yeah, GBP JPY, again, is another place potentially where, again, if North Korea does anything silly, we can start shorting markets outside of this $1.5020, which is only 50 pips away. Okay, so hey, anything can happen this week. Let's see what comes to fruition. Now, we also are looking at tax reform for the U.S. side. Remember what's happening on that end, NZD USD. Okay, remember you can play tax reform anywhere, but I don't think we've looked at the NZDU. But anyway, let's see what happens in terms of tax reform as well. If anything positive happens in that light for the U.S., again, you're going to get some more strength. Maybe this is a retest here on this U.S. Let's see what the weekly looks like. In terms of the weekly, we had a massive pullback. I mean, if you look at, 1, 2, 3 massive weeks of buy side, all the way from the 71 lows, we went as high as the 74 mids, and right now we're at the 72 lows, right? So we eroded most of the bullish position on this NZD USD. Again, we might see a retest of this 61.8 here on this NZD USD, just on the technical front, outside of the fundamentals. Just based off the fact that I see that, this market's having a hard time pushing higher here. Look at what happened last month, okay, August here, right? So, folks, this might be September. This might be the month that we actually get this market to come down to the 61.8, at least touch it, right? And if it can touch it, then, hey, we may be able to make some money on that position, whether it happens intraday, whether it happens over the course of a couple of weeks. Let's just keep an eye on, markets maybe not being able to sustain 71.90s, okay? So, folks, pretty simple breakdown. All right, again, make sure you guys get over into the rookie course if you guys want to get the play-by-play, as to what I'm looking at and maybe what I'm in throughout the week. And other than that, folks, your profit, always my motive. Obviously, you guys, already liked the video because I'm your boy. So we can close out. All right. So guys, again, if you need anything, let me know. All right. Talk to you guys real soon. Peace.